whether you're a new practitioner or an old practitioner, whether you've been doing it a long time or a short time, whether you have a 15-minute practice or a 2-hour practice, every now and then, for whatever reason, some doubts creep in. There are different levels of doubt, but it can strike you anytime. You don't know. The mind and the ego play a lot of tricks. And so based on karma, based on the environment, such things can happen and doubt will come. Now, doubt is healthy. It's not that doubt is bad and you shouldn't worry about it. The doubt is healthy. What is unhealthy is if you don't deal with it. If you just try to ignore the doubt and try to say, I can just ignore it. Unfortunately, the mind doesn't work that way. You actually have to resolve your doubt. So you have to first understand your doubt, resolve it, and take action based on the resolution. Those are the 3 steps of dealing with doubt. Now, what do I mean by doubt? You can doubt the spiritual practice you're on. Maybe you've been doing it for some time, or you've been doing it for a short time. Your expectations may not have been met. And so you have some doubt about the path. Or it just is so difficult. It takes a lot of effort for you to sit down to do your practice sometimes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. You may come into a patch of time where it takes a lot of effort just to do your basic practice. So you start doubting whether you're on the right path. A second doubt is about the guide, the master, the teacher who gave you the practice. Okay. If you have a doubt about whether that person is able to or is qualified to be your guide, then it will affect your practice. A third type of doubt is even the most difficult. The third doubt is that you doubt yourself. You may realize you're on the right path, you have a qualified guide, but you may think that you cannot get self-realized in this lifetime. You doubt yourself for whatever reason. The nasty voice in your head tells you, no, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to come back, and you may have to come back many times, God knows what. And you just, it's not, too much karma. I've heard that from people. They tell me and sometimes they just give up because they say, I don't think I can do it. So how do you deal with these 3 kinds of doubt? Remember, now, first you have to understand. Now, you could have more than one doubt, okay? But you need to examine your doubt. Okay, I have doubt. Okay, do I doubt the path? Do I doubt the teacher or guide, the master? Do I doubt myself? What is it that I'm doubting? Once you examine that, then you have to look at, okay, why am I having these doubts? And what is the doubt about? Can I resolve it? Let's say you're doubting about the path. And as an example, let's talk about Kriya Yoga. Now, this path is well known, right? You've heard about it because of various things, maybe because you read the autobiography of a yogi, or a friend introduced you to it. Whatever the reason, you've been introduced to this Kriya Yoga, and you know it has a long, venerable tradition. Not as long as some other traditions may be, because it has been renewed in recent times due to the effort of Lahiri Masaya, who got the Kriya Yoga gain from Babaji, Mahavtar Babaji, or as Sadgurunath calls him, Sat Gorakshanath, Shiv Gorakshanath Babaji. So we can examine that, okay, so a lot of people testify that Lahiri Masaya was a great master. Sri Yukteswar was a great master. And they both had, if you read about the annals of Kriya Yoga, had other students and disciples who became great masters in India. One of the great masters that came to the US was Paramahansa Yogananda. So there's a lineage here of Kriya Yoga. And specifically for us, the lineage is directly from Babaji to Satgurunath, Yogi Raj Gurunath Siddhanath. So then we examine, okay, what about the guide? Let us examine Satgurunath. Now, I'm a teacher, but I'm teaching by the grace of the master, the grand master, the Satguru. There may be many gurus in this world, but there are very, very few Satgurus, especially in the razzmatazz of daily life, in the normal places where people can find guides. Unless you go to the Himalayas, it'd be very difficult to find a Satguru. So what makes him a Satguru? He has demonstrated and he has explained to us the hallmarks of a Satguru, that he's able to demonstrate that he is one with us and that he can awaken our Kundalini. By pranapat, he breathes through our breath and awaken and move our Kundalini. By the Shivapath, he actually gives us experience of his no mind, his samadhi. By Shaktipat, he's healing us. We can feel the energy, even though he's not touching us. So those are hallmarks of a Satguru, not just a guru. And it is by his power that all the teachers are able to transmit and help others. So that's the guide. What about yourself? Really, do you think you're worse than anybody else? Do you think you're worse than me or worse than some great saint? If you read some of the saints' autobiography, not all of them started out as a saint. Some of them did, things that were not that great. But because of their practice or because of their faith, it didn't matter. You may think you have a lot of karma and you're dealing with it, and we all deal with our own karma, and every one of us have more or less or different types of challenges in our life. But it calls to my mind a story about how a mother took a little boy, 4 or 5-year-old boy, to the beach. And the boy ran into the ocean and was playing, and then it ran back crying. And the mother asked, "What's up? What's wrong?" And the little boy said, "Oh my God, I sinned. I made a big boo-boo. I peed in the ocean." And the mother laughed and he said, "Don't worry. Your pee-pee is not going to hurt the ocean." Okay, so whatever we do, we feel that whether we feel that we're weak, doesn't have a strong, character, or whether we have enough virtue, it's immaterial to Babaji. It's immaterial to Sadhguru Nath. If we were already saints, we wouldn't need to practice. The practice is not for saints. The practice is for sinners, right? I mean, don't you guys, like Guru Nath says, don't you guys all agree? I can't see you, but I can sense all of you should do this, right? So don't worry so much about your self-esteem. That's an ego trick. And don't feel that you're not worthy of Sadhguru Nath's love. If you have it, you're worthy. Right? It's our birthright. Nath has always said it's our birthright to become liberated and self-realized. Okay, so you don't have to worry about such things. Does that make sense? All right, so yes, we all have self-doubt, but if you examine it and not try to hide from it, and you see how the little boy peeing in the ocean is not going to pollute the ocean. Okay, our karma, whatever we've done wrong, whether we lied to someone, whether we stole something, or whether we just feel like something in the past, not even in this lifetime. You may be really, really good in this lifetime, but somehow you still feel like I did something wrong in the past life. Yes, we all did tons of stuff wrong in our past life. So what? That's why we're here. We're the sum of all our good and bad actions. All of our good and bad karma is here. Here we are. Right? So does it mean you're not qualified to practice Kriya Yoga? You were given Kriya Yoga by a true master or through a teacher of a true master. So by definition, you're qualified. And you should be able to make the progress you need in this lifetime. Okay, so those are some of the thought processes. And then if you think through all of this, now, if you feel that after going through all of this, that you're on the wrong path, or your guide is not the right guide, then by all means, you have to take action. You have to go with your conviction, trying to, after you've resolved your doubt, but in a negative way, then you need to take action. Hopefully none of you are like that. That is just a what if somebody who's not in Kriya or not in our group came to that conclusion. Then he would leave that practice or leave that guide, and then he can make progress. Right? Otherwise, he's stuck. He's going nowhere. Does that make sense? But now, hopefully, all of us can resolve our doubts so that we are on the right path, we have the right guide, and no matter how we feel, our heart should tell us we can do it. There should be a positive angel voice in our mind saying, don't listen to that negative voice. We can do it. Just do it. Nath also likes to use that. He says, just do it. Okay. So hopefully, dealing with this, you will be able to go forward with your sadhana more positively. Okay, because if you sit down and your mind is not resolved, your doubts, it will, even though it's not in the consciousness, even if it's in subconscious mind, it will affect your practice. Okay, and it's like a sabotage. You're self-sabotaging yourself. Have you ever heard that? Yeah. You don't want to self-sabotage yourself. Okay, so look the doubt in the eye and resolve it and say, I have resolved it and I'm moving forward. Okay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.